Welcome or welcome back to my channel, guys, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this off the shoulder sweater. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So to start out, you are going to need some yarn and a 5.75 millimeter hook. To begin, you are going to start with a magic ring and a chain up of 3. That chain up 3 does count as a double crochet, and then you're going to insert 2 more double crochets where you should have a total of 3. Once you have 3, you're going to chain 2, and then in the same ring you're going to insert 3 more double crochets. So we are working on the granny square itself, so this is how we would begin. You would chain 2, and then you're going to do 3 more double crochets into the same ring, and you're going to do this for a total of 4 times. You should have 4 clusters of 3 double crochets. If you already know how to do a granny square, you can absolutely just skip this part, but this is for the ones that don't know how to make a granny square. Two and 3. So once you have your total of 4, you are going to pull your string tight to close the round, and then you are going to chain up 2. Once you chain up 2, to connect your square, you are going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 from the beginning and pull it through. So this is round 1, and this is what it should be looking like. Now for this project, I am going to be changing colors, so I'm going to chain up 1 and then cut and fasten off. But if you are not changing colors, you do not have to do this step. You will just continue on to round 2. So like I said, this is the end of round 1, and this is what it should be looking like. So now I have my next color, and we're going to begin on round 2. For round 2, you're going to insert your hook into a corner space, and to start you are going to chain up 3. Again, that chain 3 does count as a double crochet, and in that same space you're going to insert another double crochet and another double crochet, so you should have a total of 3. Once you have your total of 3, you are going to go into the next space. So I know there's some crochet tutorials on granny squares where you chain 1 in between, but for my squares I do not chain 1 in between, so I just go into the next space. So in the next space here, I'm going to put 3 double crochets, and then once I have my 3 double crochets, I'm going to chain up 2. Sorry, my dog. And then in that same space, after my chain up 2, I'm going to insert 3 more double crochets again. And that is how you do a corner space on granny squares. So now in the next space, you are going to repeat that all the way around until we reach back at the beginning. So in the next space, again, remember I'm not chaining 1. You just go right into the next space and put 3 double crochets, and then chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets in the same space. Alright, then you continue on to the next corner and do the same exact thing. Chain 2 and 3 more double crochets. Now in this next space, we already started with 3 double crochets from the beginning, so to complete the corner we're just going to insert 3 double crochets into that space, and then we'll chain 2, and then to close the round we are just going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. Okay, and I'm going to chain 1 and cut and fasten off because I am switching colors for round 3. So this is what your square should be looking like so far. For round 3, I have my next color, and I'm going to insert my hook into the corner space. And again, to start the round, you're always going to start with a chain up of 3, and that does count as a double crochet. Okay. And then in this space, you're going to work a corner space. So 2 more double crochets. So you have a total of 3. And I'm going to chain up 2. Then in that same space, I'm going to insert 3 more double crochets again. Remember, this is a corner stitch. Now in the next space, it is not a corner stitch. So in the next space where it stands alone, you're only going to insert 3 double crochets. So go ahead and insert 3 double crochets into that space. Now the next space is a corner stitch. So in that space, you're going to do the same thing that you did in the beginning, where you're going to insert 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets into that same space to complete your corner. Okay, and then in the next one, it is a standalone, so it's just 3 double crochets. And you're just going to continue this pattern all the way around until you reach the beginning again. In the ones that stand alone, it's just 3, and then in the corners you do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and once you reach the end, you'll just slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 to close the round. So I'm at the end of round 3, and this is what my square is looking like so far. So for your squares, you are going to continue this pattern until you have the desired amount of rounds that you like for your square for the size that you are making in this sweater. So I'm going to insert the sizes here for you guys. You can pause it, whatever you need to make sure you have the right amount of rounds. So for the size that I'm making, I am making a size small to medium, so that calls for 7 rounds. So that is what I'm going to do, and I will meet you guys back. Okay, so I finished my square, and I have 7 rounds here. So this is what my square looks like. And you are going to need a total of 12 squares. So you are going to continue making your squares and keep going all the way around until you have a total of 12. So you're going to need 6 for the front and then 6 for the back. So once you complete that, I'll go ahead and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I have all 12 squares completed. So now we're going to go ahead and lay our squares out so we can see how we're going to move forward. So you should have 3 squares on top and 3 squares on the bottom. Like I said, you're going to need 6 squares for the front and 6 squares for the back. The back is going to be the exact same thing. So I am doing the join as you go method. So to start, you are going to insert your hook into a corner space and chain up 3. Remember that chain 3 does count as a double crochet. And you're going to continue putting 2 more double crochets into that same space. And in the next space, you're going to go ahead and insert 3 more double crochets as well. So for this round, you are going to pretty much continue as if you were doing another round of the granny square, but you're only going to do the granny stitch for 3 sides. You're not going to go all the way around the square. You're just going to do it for 3, and you're going to leave that last side open, and I'll tell you what to do with that a little bit later. But you're just going to continue the granny stitch all the way around until you reach that corner where you have one side left, and then that's where we'll start. So I've come up on the end, and in that corner space I just put 3 double crochets and chain up 2. Once you have your chain up 2, that's when you will go ahead and grab your next square, because now we're about to start joining. So you are going to position the squares to be side by side so they can align with each other. Okay. So once you have your next square, you are going to yarn over, and then you're going to insert a double crochet into the corner space of your next square. So that is what I'm doing here. Let me zoom in for you. Okay, so I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through all 2. And then you're going to insert 2 more double crochets into that corner space as well. So you should have a total of 3. So I have 3 double crochets into the corner space, and my square is connected. So now you are going to go back to the right side, and you're going to slip stitch into that first space. And pull it through right here. So now you can see that the 2 clusters are aligning. So now you would go back to your other square and go into that next space with 3 double crochets. And now you go back to the right side and slip stitch into that next space. So essentially that is the pattern for the join as you go. You're just going to be going back and forth in like a zigzag motion, where you put 3 double crochets in the space on the left, and then you slip stitch to the right, and then you go back to the left and put 3 more double crochets, and you just go back and forth. And then you see I'm slip stitching to the right. Three double crochets on the left, and then slip stitch to the right. So you would continue doing that all the way up until you reach the corner space. Slip stitch to the right, and 3 double crochets on the left. And I'm hoping this is clear for you guys. I'm actually recording this tutorial on my new camera, so this is the first time I'm using it, and I bought a mic and I'm doing this voiceover with the mic. So please let me know if it's good, if the lighting is good, if the angle is fine, do you hear me okay? Any feedback is greatly appreciated, guys. And again, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your cousins, tell everybody that wants to learn how to crochet. I am here to teach. Okay, so so we are at the corner stitch and I'm inserting my 3 double crochets. Now for the right side, you are going to insert your hook and do a slip stitch again, and then I'm going to chain up 1. So now we are going to put 3 more double crochets into that same space as if we were doing a corner, which we are essentially doing a corner stitch. Okay. And then you're just going to continue doing the granny stitch across and then down. And then once you reach the bottom, again, we're leaving that other side open. We're not going to do any stitches there. So once we reach that corner, that is when we would add our next square. So that is what I'm doing here, just continuing the granny stitch all the way across. And I do that for a total of 3 squares. So I now have 3 squares attached. And once I have my 3rd square attached, I have 3 double crochets already. And then you're going to chain up 2 and put 3 more double crochets into that same corner space. And then you just continue doing the granny stitch all the way across until you reach that 1st square. So just putting 3 double crochets in each space. And I apologize if I'm not clear with my instructions, but it should be very clear just to kind of see what I'm doing. But yeah, let me know if I'm going too fast or if you need me to slow down or whatever works for you guys. So I'm just putting 3 double crochets in every space. Now once you reach the corner of a square when you're going across, you're going to insert 3 double crochets like we've been doing. And then to connect, you are going to slip stitch into that space in between where the 2 squares connected. So you're going to chain up 1 and then enter your hook into that space in between and place 1 slip stitch. And that's how you would connect at the corner. And then you would just continue on going across the squares. Okay, I'm probably just chatting right here. But yeah, like I said, just insert a 3 double crochet to continue on like we've been doing. 3 double crochets in every space. And just keep going all the way across until we reach the 1st square. Okay, so I now have all 3 squares connected, and I did do the granny stitch all the way across. So now this is where we start adding more squares. So you're going to chain up 2, and then you're going to grab your next square. And we're pretty much going to do the same thing that we've been doing, where we insert a double crochet into the corner of the next square to connect it. So you would just position your squares side by side so they're aligned properly, which is what I'm doing here. And I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook into the corner of this square and do 1 double crochet. And then in that same space, I'm going to do 2 more double crochets. Okay. And then remember, on the right side, you are going to insert a slip stitch into that next space there. So you're not going to go in that corner space, you're going to go into the next space. So enter my hook and pull through. And then on the left side, we are now going to do 3 more double crochets again. And just continue on that same pattern like we've been doing with the zigzag motion. 3 double crochets on the left and then slip stitch to the right. And then we just continue doing that until we reach the corner space. Okay, so we are coming up on the corner space here. And when we're doing this square, it's a little bit different than what we've been doing. So to end this square, you are going to slip stitch into the space, not the corner stitch, but the spaces in between where we connected the 2 squares from the previous row. You see right here. So you're just going to insert there and pull through. And from here, we're not going to insert a 3 double crochet in that corner space. We're just going to grab our next square and continue on. So I'm going to yarn over and grab my next square. And I'm going to insert a double crochet into that corner space. And then from there, you're going to continue on that same pattern. Slip stitch to the right, 3 double crochets on the left, and back and forth. So I'm going to continue this pattern until I have all 3 squares connected. Again, I know this is super redundant, but it's 3 double crochets on the left and then slip stitch to the right. And like I said, continue that until you have all 3. So right now I'm working on the second square, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and join my 3rd square, and then I will meet you guys right back. Okay, so I now have all 3, and right now I have left off on the corner space where you should be at the same spot if you're following along. So now we're almost done with our panel. So now what we're going to do is granny stitch all the way around until we reach the corner. I'm sorry, my son was jumping all around on the bed. But hey, I'm a momtrepreneur and I have to get it done. So like I said, we're just going to granny stitch all the way around the square, and then once we reach the corner, we will continue with the zigzag connecting pattern and continue on, if this makes sense. So let's get started. Okay, so let me just zoom in for you guys. So now where we're at, where we left off, we have 3 double crochets in that corner space. So now we are going to insert 3 more double crochets into that corner to complete the corner. 1, 2, 3. And then from here we're going to continue the granny stitch. So we're going to put 3 double crochets in each space around the square. So I'm just going to continue on putting 3 double crochets. And this is me crocheting in real time, guys. Like, this is not sped up. This isn't, you know, this is just how I normally crochet. Alright, so I have gone all the way around the square, and this is where you're going to end off. And like we've done before, you're just going to slip stitch into the space that connected the 2 squares from the previous row. Okay, so now that first square is connected. So now to connect the next square, we are going to yarn over and insert 3 double crochets into that corner space of the next square. And then again, go ahead with that zigzag pattern. So we're going to slip stitch to the right. And then continue that all the way up. Left, right, left, right, left, right. All the way until you reach the corner at the top. And then you're going to go around again with the granny stitch. So I have completed all 3. I went ahead and connected everything once I got to the end. I just slip stitched to connect the squares and I cut and fasten off. So now what you're going to do is you're going to repeat this entire process for a second time so you have 2 panels. Because again, remember, we need 6 for the front and 6 for the back. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do off camera, is create my next panel. So I have both panels done, and I am going to lay them right sides facing each other because now we're getting ready to connect them. So to do the shoulder part, you are going to connect the first square all the way to the right with single crochets. So I'm going to insert my hook into the corner and then slip stitch to join. And then I'm just going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across, going into both loops. Okay, so I'm going to insert 1 and 2 and just keep going all the way across until I've come to the corner of this entire square. So I'm just going to keep doing that all the way across. Just putting 1 single crochet, and then once you've come to the end of this first square, you're going to cut and fasten off, and then you're going to do the same thing for the other square. So you're not going to connect the middle square because that is the hole for your head. And so yeah, so we're going to end right here. We're going to end up slip stitching and then cut and fasten off. So that's what I did here. I have my 1 shoulder done, and then you do the same thing on the other side. So like I said, we're not gonna do anything with the middle. We're gonna leave that open and then single crochet across on the other squares. Okay, so I've gone ahead and completed doing my single crochets. So we have both shoulders connected now. So both panels are now connected. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn the work. And now we're going to work on the side. So we have that top square, but we're going to leave that one open because that is going to be the space for the armhole. So we're just going to connect the bottom squares. And leave this open because that's your armhole. So from this point right here and go down with single crochets again like we did on the shoulders. And you're going to do the same thing for the other side of the 2 panels. So I'm going to insert my hook into the corner and just single crochet all the way across, going into both loops on both panels. Now that our sides are connected, it is now time to work on our sleeves. So the sleeves are fairly easy. So once you're in your corner space, you're going to chain up 3, and that does count as a double crochet. And then in the same space, you are going to insert 2 more double crochets. So a cluster of 3. So now in the next space, you're going to insert 3 more double crochets, and you're going to do that all the way around. So you're going to go around this armhole with 3 double crochet clusters in each space. So that's what you see I'm doing here. Just continue going all the way around with 3 double crochets. Okay, now once you reach the corner here, you're going to do, just continue going in that corner stitch, 3 more double crochets. Alright, so once you reach the end, you are going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 from the beginning, and then you're going to go ahead and chain 3 more. So now we are going to continue this pattern. So not in the same space, but in the next space, you're going to insert your 3 double crochet cluster. And we are going to continue this pattern all the way around, and you're going to do this for a total of 7 rounds. So you're just going to insert 3 double crochets in each space all the way around. And then once you reach back at the beginning, you are going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. Okay, so just putting 3 double crochets here. So I have completed my 7 rounds. So now I know this is very hard to see, but I really wanted to use black, so bear with me, guys. And I ran out of red and ran out of pink, so I had no choice. So once you have your 7 rounds completed, it is now time to do our decrease round. So in this round, we are going to do our single crochet decrease. So I know it's really hard to see, but just kind of listen to what I'm saying. So in that next space, in the next stitch, the top of that double crochet, you're going to insert your hook and pull up a loop, and then go into the next one and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. So again, I'm going to insert my hook into the next stitch, and then insert my hook into the next stitch again, and then yarn over. Alright, and pull through all 3. I hope you guys get what I'm saying. Insert your hook into the next one, then yarn over and pull through all 3. So you're going to complete that all the way around, just doing single crochet decreases in the top of every double crochet stitch. Into your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook into the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3, and just continue doing that. And once you reach back at the beginning, you are going to slip stitch into that first stitch from the beginning. Okay. So now from here, we are going to work double crochets. So I'm going to chain up 3, and that counts as a double crochet. Now in your next space, you're going to insert 1 double crochet. And again, I'm sorry, I know it's really hard for you guys to see. It's really hard for me to see too. But yeah, just I'm trying my best to explain as clear as possible, and I think I'm doing a good job. So just insert 1 double crochet in each stitch around. And we're going to do this for a total of 3 rounds. I decided that 3 rounds was good enough, and it looks really clean and neat. But if you decide that you want to do more rounds, you can go ahead to your desired length. Once I finished the 3 rounds of double crochets, I went ahead and did 1 round of single crochets to kind of finish it off. And that's all I did, guys. So once I did that single crochet, I did it on the other side as well. And that is it for this sweater. Once you cut and fasten off, you're good to go. I mean, it's optional. You can do like a round of trimming around the head hole, and if you want to do it around the bottom, you can, but me personally, I don't. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Thank you. See you guys in my next video.